what I do for versus other teams. I have enough running backs. It's just,
that's a crazy thing to say too.
But I'd like to have had him too. You never can have too much.
Okay, exactly.
I'm happy you had so much that you were able to just throw him in the trash, and that was a great mana from the heavens that we will discuss tonight.
AGS podcast, we're back for week 1 of the 2025 fantasy football season. Rebel Scum kicking it with the pod squad tonight to recap the week 1 action in the league. It was exciting. It was debilitating. It was miserable for some of us. We'll get into all of that this week and more. But first, let's introduce the rest of the pod squad guests. Let's kick it over to the defending champ. Decked out in I didn't get to see the number on the jersey. Which you're rocking tonight, NJC?
No, man.
Oh yeah. Wow. Any significance? Head to toe Lakers, just feeling the love, or trying to make a point?
just feeling like a Laker guy tonight, man. You know, I like the number, the infinite 8, the second greatest basketball player of all time. You know, just feeling like, you know, I like championship colors, championship teams. You know how it goes.
Unfortunately, I do. I found out this week. Fantasy football topic, off topic here. As a fellow Kobe fan, which version of Kobe is your favorite version, or do you have a favorite version? 24-8.
You know, I think that my answer would change if you would have asked me about 20 years ago, right? If there was a way to ask me about his career when I was young, I would have chosen his career when I was young. But now that I'm older, I think that when you come to the league in your prime, at your best, when it's pure talent, when pure power, pure youth, you can jump out the gym, you know, that's how you create a name for yourself. But when you get older and Father Time that's undefeated meets you in the gym, and you can change your game, still put up a similar amount of points, still have an impact on the game, greatness is built. So I'm going to now at this point in my life choose 24, but 8 and 24 are great to me.
Wow, man, that was a real answer right there. I appreciate that. And to be a champion later on too. Yeah, truly an evolution of a player, truly deserving of the 2 retired numbers for the Lakers franchise. Okay. All right, thanks for that, NJC. We'll get back to you a little bit later. Of course, we've got the Quan here, the GOAT, the dynasty. How you doing, Quan?
Probably better for us
every week.
What's up, fellas? Quan in the house. Love, respect, community, and the dollars too. Got the win this week, but didn't come at a cost. So we'll see what happens moving forward.
For sure. Nice win tonight. And actually, you know what? I didn't good game you on the thread, BC, because I knew I was going to see you tonight, and just want to say good win for you, champ. Well done. Well done, buddy.
Appreciate it, man.
Didn't take
Thank you.
Yeah, it didn't take much.
No, it's not even. See, I don't do that. I treat every opponent the same. I mean, I think week 1 we're all looking at our rosters as like, looking at it like what is the season going to be, right? Like where do you need to start making moves? Do you need to think about trades? So I'm grateful to get the win, but like Relu said, it came at a cost. So.
Well, you know what, man? You just spoke on the evolution of the late, great Kobe Bryant. I just witnessed an evolution of NJC, because I feel like an earlier version of NJC was a bit more of the braggadocious champ, even before you were a champ. And here you are, a more humble champ. This is truly a revelation for the league and for all of us. And you don't need to say the dirty shit, because Lou will always throw some shit out there. There's always some.
No, man. Thanks. I mean, thanks for that, bro. Like you said, man. We're getting a little older, and the fantasy gods are, have no gripe on laying down their feelings any day of the week. So, grateful
We're laying down their
again.
pipe.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe you should come in the camera when you're talking shit.
Yeah, what,
I'm coming in the camera.
Oh, okay. I get it. Whoa, pause. Anyways, so I appreciate that, man. We're trying to keep it humble over here, man, because any given Sunday shit could change. So thanks.
Love the plug on the title too. That's fantastic. And let's throw it over to the commissioner who's gone shadow on us.
You know what? This is for you, Vussy. My intro is dedicated to you, and you may never see this, Vussy, but I want to thank you for your wetness. I'm dripping wet here. You were just so wet this week, like a slip and slide. My co-host Kawan, NJC, and Scummy, you all in for a tweet when it's your Vussy week. I mean, look at me. I'm still drying off from all this wetness. Vussy, you keep it up, sir. You sure know how to make a man feel good. Cuz you enjoy that, Vussy, next week. I tell you what, Vussy, I'll see you for round 2 in week 12. Thank you. I'm happy to be here tonight, 1-0, thanks to the Vussy hole.
Wow. You know what?
You playing the fool's ball, Bobby Boucher.
They gave out the Emmys last night. We need to give out an Emmy tonight for.
Wait,
I'm trying to get. What's the podcast? What's the podcast?
Did you go
Emmy
off
award?
screen and pour water on yourself, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? Wait to
That's commitment. Way
to be in character.
to the jump.
Some of that sweet Vussy juice.
Oh, the sweet Vussy juice is all over me tonight. I'm trying to dry it off, but
I love this fucking podcast, yo. I love this fucking podcast.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Well, Commissioner, why don't you go ahead? Take it from there, man. Take it from there.
Well, it was a great week. I think the first thing that I have to say is that we talked about this pre-pod, Nick, and it is great to get to a point where I can enjoy fantasy football again. I was talking to a coworker at work today, and I don't think I realized how happy fantasy makes me when I'm winning. Right? I've been in a severe slump. It's been 7 years since the last chip. And I just realized this week, I think that it's been a little bit of a depression because I've got a smile on my face. I'm happy. The kids are like, Dad, it's been half our lives. You haven't been this happy. I got a smile when I'm walking the dog, man. And I looked up a stat. It is the first time since week 3 of 2022 that the Frogs have gotten the high score. So it's been a while.
What? Holy shit. Wow, yeah. Frog. That's incredible. That's an incredible stat. But as someone who is currently miserable in fantasy football, I know exactly what you mean, man. It's an incredible feeling. And like talked pre-podcast, you said you had to hit the bottom to get back to these heights here.
Absolutely, man. And although I hit the bottom, on almost every other nightly basis in the bedroom, I hit the bottom once here in AGS. I got Bijan Robinson, second play of the game, man. Second play of the game. He got a 50-yard touchdown. So yeah, it's been a work in progress since I drafted Bijan, building up. I mean, it's only week 1. I would say outside of my team, this might have been the lowest scoring week overall, like AGS wide. Like there was just a ton of low scores. Scum, I mean, you're very familiar with low scores this week. And Scum, you mentioned it, man. When we go over your game, I got to talk to you about this roster that you put together this year, man. It's standing out. Even more so than we talked about last. I mean, this is beyond the Bo Nix trade. This is beyond the top 50 overall. But this is like it's almost gosh, man. When teams, what's it called when you sell out, like you lose on purpose for the number 1 pick? Like
a fire sale?
Not a fire sale.
Tanking?
it's like a tank roster. I don't know if we want to get into it right now, but I could.
No,
Should I?
Well, you brought it up. We might as well. Or
no, let's do it. Let's do it, and then let's talk about your game. I'm just want to know the thought process behind a roster that has like almost no starting players at their position. You have Jordan Mason, running back 2, Deebo Samuel played well this week, but technically the 2 behind Scary Terry. George Pickens, wide receiver 2. Jalen Waddle, wide receiver 2. Cam Scatterbo, running back 3. Caleb Johnson, running back 3. Jordan Addison, wide receiver 2. Dante Thornton, wide receiver 3. What's the strategy there? I mean, is it just like no players available, like no starting players available when you draft? Travis Etienne, good example. We'll talk more about that later, but a starting running back pops up on waiver wire. You have no starters, really. Why not try to grab them?
Yeah, well, that one I missed. That one was a pretty fast one.
Check out this stat. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Cam Scatterbo and Caleb Johnson combined this week, -5 rushing yards.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, really the mistake was making the decision to keep Bo Nix. Should have kept Jalen Warren, who was the player I was kind of flip-flopping on.
There's a Cowboys running back that had a pretty good week.
Yeah, but I already explained, like, that was an emotional decision, and emotions may or may not usually lead to bad decisions, but I don't believe, like, Jalen Carter spit on Dak Prescott and got kicked out of the game before the game started. I think that helped the Dallas running game. He's never scored. I'm not going to check the stats, but I can't remember him having a 2-touchdown game ever in 4 years.
Last year, he scored 2 touchdowns against the Saints.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that was the one game. You're right. And then he did nothing for the rest of the season. So,
hey, I'm happy he had a good game. I don't know if it had any impact on the Quan feeling comfortable dropping Travis Etienne because he had this good backup there. But however it unfolded, this may be a future butterfly effect discussion, but
it could be.
I'm happy how the dominoes fell this week.
Let me just wrap this up real quick so we can move on, though. Like, I'm definitely outside of all the Bo Nix stuff, the actual decisions I made on the roster, I'm really just looking ahead. Like, maybe I think eventually a couple of these running backs like Jordan Mason will take over as the season progresses, but can I weather the storm there for what I hope is going to be a turn where you're right. I mean, none of these players are starters. And once Cortland Sutton was kind of gone, there were just some guys like, I don't know. I just made some decisions on that, but there's some of these dudes
they're starting players, but just not number ones, right? Like Jaden Daniels, quarterback 1, Nick Chubb, at least for the time being, running back 1.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about ones, like my goal for my roster, dudes. I want ones from quarterback to D and everybody on my bench. I want everyone to be a 1 if I can. And to have the amount of like non-ones on your roster seems like it's almost purposeful.
No, it's definitely not purposeful. And I mean, a lot of that has to do with who is available when they're there. I mean, there weren't a lot of future type 1s to build off of in like the second round that I wanted. And I'm just kind of looking for longevity with some of these keepers that I can have. I've been kind of caught up with keepers who are kind of on their last 1 or 2 years, like how many more runs does Deebo Samuel have in those legs? He gets hurt all the time. But you saw the roster I had. I mean, now Quentin Johnson, a guy who I cut, has one of the best games of the week, and he's kicking it there. But I don't know. Is that a flash in the pan? It's week 1, so I was just looking for longevity, and then trying to build on some young running backs, and then just see what happens. Fantasy football, it's crazy. It is week 1. You definitely want a team like yours where you have Bijan, you have Garrett Wilson, you have Malik Neighbors, you've got players that like Quan's, like everybody else here on this podcast has these types of players. Everybody's trying to shoot for those. It just didn't work out like that. I didn't help myself, that's for sure.
It's funny you said that. I was shaving this morning, and I was thinking about it. Like, there's 3 winners and a scum, like almost like 3 dads and a baby, or whatever that movie was called, man. So We might have to change the name of the podcast soon.
Yeah, we'll have to run that by the chief executive editor of the podcast and see if that makes it past final editing.
We'll see if
but,
that flies.
yeah, we'll see if that flies.
68 points this week, Scum. It's only up from here.
It's only up from here, baby. It's only up from here. I don't think I think George Pickens has to build some repertoire with Dak. I don't know. Fuck it. We'll see what happens. But yeah, great job today, NJC this weekend with that.
Well, we talked about the losing team, NJC. Anything to say? Or is Saquon Barkley afraid of Tank Bigsby arriving in town?
I mean, we'll see. I mean, I definitely saw that trade and ignored it before you posted it. I mean, everybody needs a backup. We'll see. I mean, I'm more focused on Drake London and what's going on in Atlanta than anything else. I think Saquon is going to get his carries. I think he's going to be okay. I've got other positions I need to focus on right now. So hopefully, that's we got some decisions we got to make. So we'll see. I'll get back to you on the Saquon fiasco.
Let's talk
about Quan. Yeah, let's talk about Quan's win. How are you feeling about your win, Quan?
Oh man, it's a win. I'm happy to get the win, but I have depth at pretty much every position other than tight end, and Kittle goes out first week, and it is a bit of a roller coaster because he was on pace to having a great game. I think he scored that touchdown first and second drive, and I was like, oh man, he's going to be really the player to really solidify my squad right there. But
brittle Kittle male bones.
More than likely, he's going to be on PUP. So he's going to be gone for 4 weeks minimum.
Do you depend on Loveland to step in, or do you hit the market?
You know what? I think I only really have room to. I'm going to roll with the rookie. He had a whopping 2 points tonight, but it looks like they're. I'm still. It's only week 1.
First week.
Yeah, and I feel like they draft. I'm circling back. They drafted this dude 10th overall. They did not draft him not to give him targets. Now, the passes he caught, he did look good. So we'll see. But I'll be rolling with him until Kittle gets back.
What scares me is having Cole Kmet out there at the same time. He, I think, outscored him tonight. And Caleb Williams looked a lot better, but once Brian Flores turned up the heat on that defense, Caleb's passes were flying all over the place. So interesting situation in Chicago.
Yeah, once the pressure came on, Caleb folded, just like he did in that off-season video when he was having a tantrum trying to throw balls at a basket. Looks like he breaks under pressure. So.
Well, you spoke about your
Maybelline and nail polish, bro.
And turquoise purses, Louis Vuitton purses,
Labubus, the whole nine, man. Speaking to that depth, though, I feel like that kind of led to a interesting situation this week where no one knew, man. You had ATN, you had Bigsby, Curse had Tootin. No one really knew what the Jacksonville Jaguars backfield was going to look like. There was a situation where all of your players became healthy on Saturday. There was no injury designation, which thank you for being proactive. And NJC, you as well, fixing your roster. Oops, when it happened Sunday morning, he fixed his roster. The only one who kind of ignores it and doesn't fix it is the man of the year, Vussy. Hasn't really been, he had Jackson Dart in the IR spot with no injury designation for the majority of the preseason. But anyways, it led to a decision. I think you mentioned you chose youth. You went with Tank Bigsby. drop Travis Etienne. I guess it's controversial. In our league, we have a rule that, when there's a late drop, CBS Sports assigns a waiver. And in Etienne's case, it wasn't going to clear until September 9th. And when that happens, it's first come, first serve, whether that's me as the commissioner or anybody who contacts me. And it's been a rule that's been in place for a few years. I want to say it was at least 30 minutes to 45 minutes before the transaction was made, because even myself, I was like, this goes back to what we talked about last week, right? I was number 2 on waivers. And if I grab ATN, that means I go to number 12 on waivers. And part of me was not willing to risk it because I wanted to be on waivers for this week. And then ultimately, I just said, screw it, man. I was like, look, he's a potential starting running back. I had already, Quan, a lot of this is your fault, man. One day, I'm not going to do it now after 1 week of a high score, but you've lit a little fire underneath the old frog. And I credit the hard work that I put in to rebuild my team to you lighting that fire and some of your shit talking, man. And part of that was your little joke about rekindling an old flame. And, I tried to deflect it and go to the Vussy, but I know what you were talking about. And
I was wondering.
No. Oh, yeah. I get them all, man. I get them all. But I try to deflect where I can. And I had a perfect deflection after Dak Prescott's 8-point output. But I didn't love Rachaad White there. I'm in the market for depth because, as much as we talked about the Travion Henderson pickup, I really want a veteran presence there that I can depend on. And when I saw ATN, I was like, that's a chance for me, right? That's like I gave up my 5th round pick for a 2-year contract. Here's a guy I think you got in the 6th. Like, I'll roll the dice on him. And it hit. It was mana from the heavens. 17.5 points this week. There was this is a quote that I read. He exploded for 143 rushing yards on 16 carries, 3 receptions. Dominated the Jags backfield in snaps. His heavy workload cements him as a high-end RB2 with RB1 upside. That's a dream waiver ad. So it hit. Also this week, it was adding another form of Vussy, which was a theme for me this week with Patrick Mahomes, Garrett Wilson, and now ATN helping me out as well. But I'll defer to you, Quan, and get your response on that whole situation.
Not gonna lie, that hurt. That hurt, man. So pretty much, as you guys know, I drafted Tank Bigsby as a rookie and signed him to a 2-year contract his rookie year, which means that I highly researched him through the offseason. And I guess that sort of just clouded my mind a little bit because I have always believed that Tank Bigsby is extremely talented. He's an extremely talented running back. So that coupled with there was rumblings all week that that there was going to be a trade, that they were going to trade either ATN or Bigsby. And my thought was, well, if they're going to trade anybody, it's going to be ATN because Bashaw Tootin is pretty much the exact same player. So they're going to roll with Tootin to be the explosive, pass-catching, quick back, and Tank Bigsby is going to be the every down, goal line, yards after carry back. And that was my thought process. They were listed as co-starters on the depth chart. But what I should have paid attention to that I ignored was Liam Cohen's interviews about Travis Etienne. But you can never trust what coaches say with interviews, though. It's just, you never know. But he was always speaking highly of him. And then when he talked about Tank's Bigsby, he'd speak highly of him, but then he always throw in something that he could work on to get better. But so I just went with my gut on judging talent for talent and youth. And to me, Tank's Bigsby is just the more talented back to me. Like, he can do it all. So that was so talented that the Eagles are highlighting how much they can't wait to use him on special teams as a punt returner. That's sad. But that was what did it. And it was, I've been wrong many times. I was wrong. And, but so I have a lot of running backs, so it's not much. I shouldn't be that hurt about it, but
Well,
still.
I'm happy you had that because that's what I needed, And you mentioned that there was a little bit of reaction on the thread. We have both the guys here that did the reactions, NJC and Sugandis. Let's talk about it. What do you guys think? Was the reaction because you think the rule is unfair, or let's talk about it.
Yeah, I do kind of think so. I guess in this scenario, it wouldn't have mattered anyway because I think you were pretty high on
number 2
waivers. Yeah.
So Rudy was the only person above me.
Yeah. So for this specific instance, it probably wouldn't have mattered. But I think in the future, it is. I did take a look at the rule, and I was like, that's kind of a weird rule because, so let's say same thing happened. And I'm 12th on waivers, I can just text you and just grab the guy that somebody just dropped over.
It's always been first come, first serve. It's and before you guys hopped on, if Quan had cut him earlier, it would have been a regular waiver at.
Right.
But because it was a late cut, it got, for whatever reason, and we can try to get CBS Sports on the podcast, but they gave him a designation of clearing waivers September 9th, and that's where the first come, first serve kicks in.
Yeah.
And mind you, there have been ads that happened within 60 seconds. This was almost 45 minutes.
I think, like I said, Coop, the only thing that may have confused anybody or may have had them jump up was because it happened on a Saturday. Normally, those late ads that you first come, first serve ones happen Sunday morning. It never happens on a Saturday, and it just so happened that it happened on a Saturday, which is like, oh shit, everybody kind of jumped up. But that was that. You paid attention to when the waiver actually ran, saw that it fell within the rule, and made the ad, and it hit. But
did anyone else see it and ponder on it, or you guys, by the time you guys saw it, I had already picked him up?
I saw your notification. I saw that you added him, and I was like, he was dropped. Like, why was he dropped? What happened? And why did you choose to drop him on Saturday night, Quan?
Because I was waiting and two reasons. Number one, A-Chain is questionable mark. He went fully healthy Saturday morning, so I knew it was only so long before Lennon sends out a message on the thread for me to fix my roster. The second reason I dropped it because I was waiting for the trade. They had been talking about a trade all week, and I was like, I'm just going to wait it out all the way until they make the trade, and then that'll decide it for me. Why the fuck did they make the trade after the game? Thanks. Had they made it pre, and clearly they knew they were going to trade him because they barely even played Bigsby, who was listed as a co-starter originally. So it's just the timing worked out. But I'm kind of happy he went. I mean, it's good that he went to Lennon's team because Lennon really doesn't need him either. I can't see Lennon throwing him into the starting lineup. He's always going to be pretty much.
Hey, Travion only had 8 points, man. So I think ATN plays the Bengals defense next week. He might get a start.
Okay. But Lennon's rich with backs. So once Juckins is back or what have you, I can see ATN, pretty much just sitting on his bench or maybe, materializing into a trade for him. So,
It's funny that you say that because there's a certain team that you're close with that hit me up for an ATN trade today. Interesting. Sugan, you said that you saw it but didn't pull the trigger?
Yeah, because I know Lou had just mentioned those usually go down on Sunday. So I, for whatever reason, always thought the rule was you have to wait until close to game time to hit you up if you wanted to add somebody late.
That doesn't sound like first come first serve, Sinka.
Yeah, I didn't know it was first come first serve. I thought it was you have to wait until game day, Sunday to try to make.
So you said you just read the rule
after you brought it up, yeah.
And the rule says first come first serve.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, this is a recommendation to everybody in the league. Read the rules. It's not a new rule.
No, yeah. I'm just saying I didn't know what the rule. I didn't know that was a rule. Because Because
Well,
yeah, whenever
I'm interested to see how would it work. So let's say you wait till game time, then what? How do we decide? Like everyone hits me right before the game starts, and how do we just who do we give it to?
okay, so that's the thing that I've been going back and forth because it's like there's layers to it because it's like one, we have to text you, and then two, what if like if you want to add them, there's nobody, like you're not gonna text yourself. So it's like you could also easily be like, well, I wanted him too. So there's no like check and balance.
Well, that's where you have to have trust in the commissioner's office, and like if you don't trust me, you shouldn't be in the league. I would say, I've never used that rule shadily. If I've awarded players to people for years. I could do an entire report on it if you want. And again, there was a solid amount of, to me, 30, 45 minutes goes by. That's plenty of time for everyone to have gotten that notification and made a decision.
No, I will say with all of the as much as the asshole in it is, I will say his integrity has never been in question as commissioner in this league. So I'll give him that.
There was one, Lou, Kadarius Toney. I was driving on the 110 freeway, and that notification came in. I hit self-drive real quick, and I added him as soon as I could.
I literally pulled over to try to quickly make that ad, and it beat me to it. Pulled over on the freeway.
I think you would have got a Tesla right after that, just for that reason.
I need to self-drive.
Hey, real quick, we didn't even give Sugandis a proper introduction. Thanks for jumping on the podcast tonight on short notice. Sugandis, I got a question for you. Aren't you glad you only paid a 6th-round pick for Bo Nix?
Yeah, I'd be really pissed if I paid a penny more than a 6th-round pick.
Thanks for that, Lemon.
Let's get it.
Yeah,
It's only week one.
It's only week one.
Nick, Nick took a lot of shit, including an entire butterfly effects segment. But go into it. Let it. Penix put up 30.
Yeah, no, this doesn't absolve me of the fumbling of the entire situation, but it did make me feel better, and that's why I put that laughing emoji. I was actually crying because it's like, this motherfucker's on the bench. He outscored my starting quarterback and the guy I traded for that I got lambasted. But it's only week one. I mean, it's only week one. I don't expect Bo Nix to be that bad every week this season. But we'll see where my backup quarterback can take me. It's funny. I've got plenty of starters in positions I only need one of.
Well, I'll tell you what it did save you, Nick. And I think I talked to Quan about this. I had at least 6 Bo Nix items in my queue on Amazon, and I was going to rock a Bo Nix shirt or a jersey. But as soon as he threw up that dud, I was like, all right, it's not going to be funny anymore. So you saved me 30.
I think what you chose to do in this week's episode was much more hilarious. I'm not even going to say anything, so Senke can have a nice surprise when he watches the replay.
I hope it goes down in the annals of the podcast.
Annals, that was amazing. It was quite amazing. Let's just shout out the other winners before we move on to the next segment here. Shout out to Quan's second team, Oops Babies. They had a wonderful win over T. Ruth.
I have a note. We talked about in the pod. Mecca Agbuka, we talked about it. I think I mentioned it. Quan mentioned it. What a game for the rookie. 20 points, 2 touchdowns. Also, I'd let shine a light on Justin Herbert. He's been a long talked about quarterback, and it looks like Jim Harbaugh, might be letting him unleash that arm this year. 38 points on his bench. I was concerned about Caleb Williams being a starter, and Caleb had a decent night, but Herbert is going to be something to reckon with potentially this season.
Yeah, that Abeka pick was a hell of a pick by Oops. Way to pull the trigger on a who was potentially the third wide receiver on the team. He pulled the trigger over him, third pick in the second round. That was bold, and it hit. I give him credit for that.
So that was the dude that
you give him credit,
or are you patting yourself in the back?
Yeah,
he looked over like I'll give
the flip
credit.
side. We this is becoming a weekly occurrence where we talk about the 5th round pick, and probably the catalyst that kind of started Vussy abandoning the league, trading Derrick Henry. Even with the 30-point game, T. Ruth wasn't able to break 100 points. So it's really, Derrick Henry and the bums, man. He doesn't have much else on his roster.
I've said it. I mean, Derrick Henry has carried him for years. When the Derrick Henry show is over, I fear what's going to happen with T. Ruth. the days of him coming up to the draft with no notes, no nothing. Looking at the notes are the sticker sheets for him.
No notes and potentially no more bus.
Yeah.
I mean, Krosky Merritt could be something to hang on to for a couple of years, maybe even next season, maybe even later this season. To be honest with you, the backup Rodriguez is kind of banged up, and Eckler's not. That dude's not running a full season, not as the number one running back. So that could be a little bit, maybe not a lottery ticket, but something to kind of keep him steady.
Yeah, great pick.
Good point.
Pick. He was one of the top 5 rookie performers of the week, even with his listing on the RB chart, running back depth chart. It didn't matter. He came through for him.
The Egbuka pick, though, that was somebody I would have definitely taken in round 2 if he was there for me. I was looking at that guy, and he doesn't look like he's the number 2 or number 3. He looks like he's the dude out there. We'll see how that plays out. Moving on, shout out to the Curse for taking it to the Pimps. I really thought I was going to be able to beat 76.5 points this week. Couldn't do that. But maybe better days ahead for Pimps. Curse is always putting together a team, but this is kind of an underperforming performance. It is week 1. Curse was setting regular high scores, right? I mean, last season he had quite a few, right? I didn't make that up.
Man. This was the Josh Allen game for sure. I mean, that felt like we were watching a Super Bowl last night. Epic game, Buffalo, Baltimore, both quarterbacks balled out. Josh Allen, 49 points, more than half of the points that Curse scored. Without him, Curse doesn't get the W.
I want to say all game up until maybe the late third, fourth quarter, Pimps was well over 50% favored to win that game. So that
and then that 5th round pick came and fumbled.
Yeah, damn, dude. The afternoon games will get you. That's for sure. That's the witching hour, the witching afternoon. And shout out to Rudy's replacements for taking it to Joe Owumi. Well done, Rudy. Well done.
Rudy, congrats on the victory. I'm happy for Rudy, man. He's putting a team together. He's competitive. That's always great to see. But my biggest question for Owumi, and that was coming into this week, what is he doing at quarterback? I mean, I have 2 quarterbacks that put up a combined total of 60 points. Owumi has 2 quarterbacks who put up a combined total of 2 points. Like, if anything in AGS that's easy to get points and money is quarterback position, what are you doing, Owumi? Like, what's happening here? And you put Ward on a contract.
Did he sign?
Both these quarterbacks are on contracts, I think. Yeah, I think he put Ward on
4-year.
I think he put him on a 4-year.
Yeah.
The best in this, I wanted to put this, sorry guys. I love this time of the year. I could tell that my game ended early, clearly based on the intro. I was having a fun time sliding down that slip and slide. But and it gave me the flexibility to talk a lot on the thread. But the thread was quiet, and I guess there was a lot of games in balance. And there was another, I wanted to post that Cam Ward. Have you guys seen it? Cam Ward's dad? You seen the video?
No.
He's in the crowd just frustrated because Tennessee wide receivers can't catch anything. And he was so exasperated, man. It was just hard to see him watching his son in his debut game.
Yeah, Cam Ward actually didn't look bad. He made some pretty good throws. It didn't work out. Dudes weren't catching the ball.
That's a tough defense for a rookie quarterback.
Tough place to play, too. I mean, Denver, tough defense.
Mm-hmm.
But that goes to what is Owumi thinking? Why are you starting Cam Ward, his first game ever in the NFL against the Broncos defense?
Yeah.
What are you doing, man?
Oh.
Owumi, what are you doing?
Well, he traded RJ Harvey for Alvin Kamara.
And-
Hey,
mean,
Kamara
I've been having
Moore
good points.
outscored RJ Harvey this week.
Yeah.
he did, and actually, yeah, he did. But the quarterback
bright
situation
spot.
is pretty crazy.
Yeah,
I've
he
never
also,
seen a quarterback-
No,
I've never
Brock
seen a-
Bowers. I mean, Brock Bowers got hurt, but he was having a pretty decent game there. Maybe one of the better performances of the week.
yeah,
for
he
tight ends.
also passed on a wide receiver that he could have had for 2 years for free. For
Well,
DK
he could have had him for 4 years if he hadn't put the contract on. Oh, you mean Zay Flowers? My bad.
Yeah.
Let's
Sorry
talk
about
about
that,
that,
sorry.
Quan.
Uh-huh.
He also took. Never mind. Let's talk about it, Quan. Talk about that trade.
You know, I think I don't know. Karma's coming back to bite him, or I mean, to me that would have been more valuable is to have the number one wide receiver for probably arguably the best quarterback in the league, electric, young, and under contract. I'm surprised he passed on that for Metcalf. An aging second team wide receiver with a 40-year-old quarterback who's more than likely he's not going to be kept next year. So, I mean, but trying to figure out Joe Lumi's thought process is it's harder than calculus. It is crazy.
He did get Brock Bowers though in the 3rd round, which is pretty crazy.
He's
All
not
things
here
considered.
to be competitive. He's here to make trades and go to draft weekend. That's it.
and hang, man.
But
He's in one of the best cities in the United States, but he's just out there on his own. Just
for the last 2 years, if you notice, Owumi has had nothing to trade. He's had nothing to trade. So Owumi's like mid-season trades where he basically just rapes his counterpart for all their future. He doesn't have any players to do that. So he's resulted to doing it now in the draft, like he did with CK.
You're getting through these games, Nick. If I could just, I know I kind of briefly touched on it at the beginning. Cebert Frogs high score this week. Just for the sanctity of the league, man, I felt like it had to be done against the Vussy. It just needed to be done. And not only was it done, it was done with a lot of his former players. Patrick Mahomes put up 30 against him, outscored his quarterback by 22 points. Garrett Wilson, who he gave up, and I took 19.5 points, really looking like a solid connection with him and Justin Fields. ATN, another former Vussy on my bench, 17.5 points. And last week we talked about what my team could look like when Quinshon Judkins signs and comes back, when Rashee Rice is back from suspension, when and if Joe Mixon decides to play this week. But I don't know, man. It's looking good right now after 1 week. Vussy situation, there's a couple things, that we needed to talk about because this has been a big thing on the podcast. Is this the end of the Slurps as we know it? Our favorite whipping boys. The Rat Pack has dissolved, and then Vussy not only didn't come to the draft and tried to shit on our draft, he's not responsive on the thread. And the interesting thing about I was having a thread on WhatsApp, you can see that he's at some point looking at the messages and not responding. He did go all day Sunday without even checking it, though. That's got to be a certain type of hell to live in, that you can't even interact. It's just fantasy football. We're in our mid-40s. It can't hurt that much. It can't be that. It's fantasy football. What do we get? I don't know, man. We want to turn it over to Citron. I know you're not his spokesperson, but you are a member of the Rat Pack. Vussy was a member of the Rat Pack. You are a Slurp. You're a member of the Slurps. Vussy's a Slurp. What do you got to say on the subject, man?
Well, I was gonna comment into you through that fucking slurp comment, and fuck you and the horse you rode in on, bastard.
But is losing in fantasy football? I took it. I came in last place, and he got his gift of Ashton Jinty. I got my gift of Bijan Robinson. You guys called me Cebert for the season. I took it. That didn't mean I didn't run away. I did not communicate. I did not participate. I did not come to viewing parties. This seems like I don't know, man. It feels like there's rumors that he's put his team up for sale. And it just seems, it's sad that it seems like it's coming to an end for him. When he's on the pod, which he was 2 episodes ago, he seemed like he was enjoying it.
He said he was back.
He
He said he was back, but
his team is back. His team is good. They got their ass whooped this week, but his team is.
Hey, he outscored a couple teams on his podcast.
Yeah, his team is good.
Yes.
I mean, I would feel
Yes.
if I finish last place and I'm rebuilding, I'll feel confident about that team.
Yes, maybe guys, maybe we're the assholes. Maybe he's elevated to another plane of existence, and we're over here playing Jocular Dungeons and Dragons, making podcasts that we watch.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey, I'll tell you what, man, it makes me happy. And if I feel bad, Boo, if this doesn't make you happy, this really makes me happy, man. I enjoy it. The wins, the losses, the hanging out with the boys, the viewing parties. I love it all, man. I wouldn't trade anything for it.
BC, want to hear more from you. What is it? What's going on with who?
I'll be honest, guys.
And to add to that, sorry to cut you off. You said he's abandoned me and T. Ruth. What did that mean?
I mean, I'll say this. I've personally reached out. I've made phone calls, and it apparently has fallen on deaf ears. So anything I say is just going to be my personal opinion. If I had to guess, I think that it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? I think that it's more of biting off more than you can chew. If we remember the Vu of old, he was very gunslinging, very shit-talking, very quick to start jokes. And I think that persona that was created, I think that we started firing jokes based off of a persona I think that wasn't necessarily the true persona. And I think that after last season coming in last place and all the jokes, and I think that just everything that started, with the list of names, I just personally think that in the same vein like Captain Hook, I think the shit talking just got too much, man. And I think that personally, based on the fact that everybody who I know who's reached out has gotten the same response, I think that he probably feels like everybody in the league, has jokes and he's cool on it. That's my only guess, So I always gonna love Vu. When he's ready to come back to the fold, he'll come back. But the only thing I'll say is, honestly, man, like, if you can't take it, don't dish it. There's people in this league who fly under the shit talking radar, who never is the butt of jokes, whether they perform or come in last or first. So it's able to be done. It's just, sometimes you gotta. We all, not just one person in particular. I think sometimes you gotta check your pride at the door. At the end of the day, it's just a game. So that's all I'll say on it.
Well said, NJC.
Well said. I think there's only actually one person in this league that is not the butt of jokes regularly. Everybody else gets flamed.
I think it's two. I think Pimps and I don't think Rudy. Nobody really messes with Rudy.
Nobody talks about Rudy. Nobody talks about Curse for the most part.
Excuse me. I'm just gonna cut this whole shit out. But just a year ago, you did the fucking George Jefferson cul-de-sac shit.
Yeah.
That was before. That was before he was hospitalized.
Rudy got his fair share before.
Okay.
Rudy has an exemption that allows him to live, peacefully.
Yeah.
That's the exception. Oh, man.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm sorry if a similar situation happened to you, Nick. I think we would stop with the pegging of the stormtrooper.
Any of us.
You know what? It's a shame it would take near death for us to recognize how important.
Hey, we're assholes. We're not demons. We're assholes.
And I think Joey Bryant too. He doesn't dish any, so he doesn't get any.
He actually does
what I was
not get
talking
flamed.
about.
He does not get flamed too. Yeah, you're right.
That's what I'm talking about. I mean, he's a man of few words, but when he does open his mouth, as we saw at the draft, he knows how to shut shit down. But I'm just saying, and again, I'm going to say it because I have a feeling that these podcasts do get watched. I love Vu, and I'll say it on the pod. Everything I've said about Vu has been in the name of jokes, specifically relegated to fantasy football. As a person, you're my guy. You're always going to be my guy. As a fantasy football player, you suck. I mean, I love you, but you make shitty ass choices, and we're going to expose you in a fantasy football league that pretty much predicates itself on shit talking. I mean, anybody who's sitting here 4 out of 5 with a championship with a bobblehead, the shit talking, the championship, these are worth more than the cash that it pays out. Being able to stand amongst everybody and telling others who have not had a championship, like that shit talking, that that's the most sacred part of this league. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, Vu should actually walk on the fact that he backed into a championship. That's my fucking dream. Are you kidding me? That he should just take all the arrows that come at him. It doesn't matter. He's a champ.
Tell me about
what it is. We'll just say this. Anybody watching the podcast, if you want to join our podcast, just know we talk shit, and it's next level fucking all Madden level shit talking. So if you can't take it, don't fucking join.
Exactly. But in that vein, you would think this isn't a guy we just met. This isn't Bruce that we just met a few years ago that wants to hop in. Mm-hmm. Voodoo is a member of our fraternity from our chapter. This shit talking has been going on for 20 years.
I've known Voodoo over 20 years.
Well, I will remind, in the name of love, I will remind everybody on the podcast.
Now.
I will remind everybody on the podcast that's known Vu for a long time to think about that time that you've known him, and then ask yourself, does this meet the behavior or the pattern or cadence of that 20 years?
Okay.
So
point taken.
All right.
I will say though, the thing about it though, Vu does disappear and come back. So this will not be the end of Vu. He will return. I just hope that he doesn't make a decision that doesn't allow him, because if he leaves the league, it's hard to get into this coveted fraternity.
Well, no. I think that if you sell your team, you should never be able to come back.
Ooh,
well,
man.
Also, if you don't participate, you don't communicate, you're fucking up your roster weekly, and you bail. I think I haven't written it in, but I'm going to write in that role, man. If you don't show up to the live draft, like, not only are you fucking the people who do show up, it's 11 of us showed up. Mm-hmm. You're also screwing yourself. There will be no Jackson Smith and the Jigba, Dak Prescott. Like, there won't be room for confusion because you'll be there with the hand in your sticker, with your hand, the sticker in your hand. Like,
I definitely think we should make a serious vote on participation requirements for the league.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
And this is not pointing any fingers at Vu, but if we do have people who would really like to be in the league and would participate, and this is not limited to Vu, because Oops was about to get that conversation had he not, dug in. So,
I
there
think
are people waiting.
Oops' participation level was there. He just sucked.
Well, but you understand what I'm saying. Like, if you're not gonna try, this is not the league of old. No. This is a competitive.
He needed a little coaching. He needed a little pick me up. If you know what I mean.
You know what I mean?
You got a point though. We have someone on a waiting list who comes to the draft every year, just hoping for a spot, and we can't have somebody who has a spot who doesn't want to be there. We have someone desperate to get into the league. And then also, I mean, even Jamon, with as absentee as he is sometimes, I mean, this man drove down there the day of with his mother, came to the draft for 2 hours and bounced. I mean, he's still committed, and that showed a lot.
Well, let's pivot to let's do NJC's top 3. pivot to something a little bit more. Not saying it won't be a repetition of what we just talked about, but
Perfect timing.
NJC's top 3. All right, coming in at number 3, Patty Mahomes putting up a 30-burger to face his old team, only to put up 30 or more points only 3 times in all of 2024. Stat. Number 2, the Curse's last-minute comeback to beat Pimps, thanks to Derrick Henry, who also put up 177 yards and got a 30-burger based off that same person's 5th-round pick. That's number 2. And number 1, dropping ETN, further loading up the highest-scoring team this week, who outscored all of your started running backs, and just to keep tanked Bigsby and his 1 point. That came in at number 1 this week. Congratulations, Lewis.
Why, thank you.
That is a great top 3 this week. Great job, NJC.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm sure the Frogs love that one.
Yeah, two out of 3. Good
Yeah,
Glazing
2 out of
the,
top 3.
Frogs.
With the Frogs.
Goodness.
It's a good week. Good week to be a frog.
Oh, damn, it was 2 out of 3. But you know what? That's not really hey, man, other people's trash is another nigga's treasure. I mean, we're gonna rename the Frogs Rock. Remember Rock back in the day?
He has turned his team around and I mean,
vicious, man.
For NJC and myself, 2 of the teams that have been sort of at the top these last few years, we may all be on a collision course again. So
I was gonna say I definitely think that tomorrow night's gonna be a very interesting night. I'll just put it that way.
One on waivers for sure. I mean, it started early. ATN, I think in all likelihood would have went number 1 on waivers. Potentially, he's up there.
100% would have went to Rudy.
Yeah,
I definitely think it would have changed the what was good, the melee, the fucking mayhem tomorrow night, but it's still gonna be crazy.
Yeah, there's still some talent out there. There's still guys that have to fill some holes. Pause. But
I'm pushing play, boys. I got some holes I gotta fill.
Oh my goodness, no doubt, no doubt. You and me both, brother. You want to look ahead to the week 2 matchups?
Yeah, I was trying to wait before it loaded to kind of get a look at the scoring preview. What I will say, you know what? Can we do this? I actually wrote a little note to see before we have time before they do the refresh. But after week 1, you guys want to do any picks for the playoff teams? Any teams we think are gonna?
Oh my god. You 3 and then maybe Sugandi's and not me. How about that? Does that work?
I think it's early, man. It was a really low scoring week. We'll see if the Frogs can repeat what they did in week 1. I think it's a little early.
Then I have a question for you. Of the low scoring games of last week, who do you think, or what teams do you think are going to have the biggest jump and rebound for next week?
The Curse. I just threw that out there because I was looking at his roster right now. I really want to say me, but all you guys are going to laugh, so let's just move on.
I mean, it's it's only up from 68 points.
Only up.
Thank you. Thank you.
I mean,
And I'm playing Tootie Ruth next week, so maybe if Derrick Henry just has 15 points, I might be able to pull it off.
Joe Burrow is not going to stick around 10 points on a weekly basis. 101 points for the Quan is the equivalent to a scum 68 for the Quan. So Quan will score more points.
Well, and yeah, to that point, you're right. That's why I also think Curse will have a bounce back because that affected Chase and Higgins, who he started both.
Pimps is going to bounce 76. Pimps doesn't score that. It was just a really low scoring week.
It was a weird week, man. It's a weird week. I will tell you, I am worried about the ambassadors of the Queef Part 2. Their team, the Oops, looks dangerous. I will say that.
And that's your next in division.
Props
next
to Oops
week
too. I know we were, or we all like to give them shit, but when we were at
San Diego. He was falling asleep to some fantasy football podcast. I don't know if that was just a front to, see, guys, I actually do my research. I don't know if it was just a front, but he was.
As much shit as y'all talk, that man, he was researching every time I saw him. He was talking fantasy football. He was listening to podcasts, doing he was on top of it this year, and it showed in the draft.
He mentioned Ibuka to me months ago. He told me he was eyeing Ibuka months ago. So he called that one. He drafted him, and it hit on his bench. But it's a good solid player.
Bench next week, I tell you that.
And Hampton is not going to score 6 points. I mean, he got the lion's share of the carry. He got all the carries on a run-heavy offense, so he's going to get into that end zone pretty soon. So
yeah, just hope not next week. I'll say this, man. To kind of piggyback off of a conversation that was had last podcast about one of the good things about our draft weekend, and particularly the house that we chose. I got a chance to spend a little time with Oops, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the time, we're grown men. We have lives. We have responsibilities. So we don't get a chance to bond beyond. Because most of our friendships are built off of, like you said, 20, 30 years. And, Oops being new to the group, you only know based off of, the thread. So I actually got some time to spend with him. I'm going to say, he's a solid brother, man. He talk a lot of shit. He takes it, he dishes, but he's a good cat. And I do think that he did put the research in. We're going to continue talking shit about the collusion. I'm going to say after this that I think you called him and made him all of his picks and waivers, but I think he's a solid cat, man. You know what I'm saying? So I give Oops props, and I look forward to him being on a competitive team this season. So I'll see you this week, brother.
I just want to I was about to point that out, what you just said. You're going to see him this upcoming week, and you're all about promoting love and kindness, godly fantasy football, godly virtues. The timing is what the timing is. So, but he is a funny dude, man. Oops is definitely a funny guy. I heard too much of that damn song all weekend.
God damn, that was the longest song ever. Fucking
why is it 10 minutes long, man? Fuck.
The theme song of the draft.
Wow.
Jeez. So yeah, you see Oops next week. Frogs, you have Penthouse Pimps. You got the OG next week. You said you think he's gonna bounce back, but you must be feeling pretty good after putting up the week high score.
I feel good. He'll bounce back. I feel strong enough that I hopefully will squeak by with a victory and go 2-0. We'll see. See you, OG, next week. Much less shit talking on the thread for me next week.
No doubt about that. That's just how it goes. It's just how it goes. Quan, deference. Quan, you got who's coming in second. So I know I can already tell by your face you're thinking bye week. How dare you? How dare you?
He doesn't have a quarterback
unless there are quarterbacks out there. So
there are. What do you know?
It's kind of hard to pick up a quarterback when you have 2 on contract taking up roster space.
That's what I was going to say. He's got some interesting choices. He's got some interesting choices to make in the waiver wire.
First team in franchise history that I can recall ever having 3 quarterbacks on their team.
That's fucking crazy. And just locked into them too. Just locked in.
This goes back to the conversation we had last week on choosing contracts and spots that you lock up on your roster, man.
Well, he's not locked into Richardson just yet, though, right?
No, he's on a contract.
He's got 6 weeks.
He's got 6 weeks.
I mean, that's 6 weeks of.
It's a long time.
Yeah,
and it's beyond the. My
better hope that Daniel Jones doesn't get knocked out for one play, and he has to come in and take a snap for one play.
So,
or they just run a different scheme. Oh, hey, let's
hey,
bring him in on the goal line. Bring him in on the goal line.
Some shit like that. And 6 weeks, did we determine, is that beyond the trade deadline anyways?
7 weeks is trade deadline.
Okay. All right. I'm sure
Danny Dimes looked good. Danny Dimes looked. He looked poised. I'm liking it for everyone who owns a Colts player. has to be happy with Danny Dimes.
Tyler Warren,
Yeah.
great game for the rookie Tyler Warren.
Yeah, no doubt.
Wait, to
Andy-
Quan's point, and I'm gonna fuck this up, but there was a meme that said Daniel Jones went to the Colts and looked like prime Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson went to the Giants and looked like prime Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's great. Dangerous,
sucks,
man.
man.
He fell so far. He fell so far. That's one of them where it's like you should have retired early and Barry Sanders should have played like 5 more years. You know, like
This
Just weird how
goes
that
back
shit
to
worked
this goes to the wife episode, man. Because when you're getting that good Sierra yum hit the bottom,
I'm just here so
you
I don't
know,
get fired.
I deal with it in my life, man. I have just I used to care. I used to shop. I used to really, I mean, this would work out, but I used to care, man. Once you get a good wife with good vagina, who cares, man? You've already lived your life.
All right, man.
shout out to
All right,
Alexis.
Lennon is on this fucking podcast trying to win pussy points. He's already won fantasy points. So now he
I
wants to
second
win some
that,
pussy
Rick.
points.
I
Oh,
second
wait,
that.
look. You gotta talk. You gotta talk so you can see.
I'm showering myself tonight in the wetness.
Yeah.
From the Vussy to the Creole Cousset.
Oh my god, that's it. I'm gonna leave it right there. We wrapped early.
Wait. I got Curse. You play I didn't want to be a groomsman anyway. Does Curse cash in this week on Choose Your Vussy? I don't think he will. He's better than me. I think Vussy will have this name for 2 weeks. Who plays the Vussy next? Penthouse Pimps. I don't know. He might be. I didn't want to be a groomsman for a couple weeks. We'll see if anyone cashes in on Choose Your Vussy. Feel free. I'm not going to ask you. I've said it here on the pod. If you want to change Vussy's name, call me and we will update it for the week. I almost changed it this week mid-game, but I hadn't won yet, and I thought it might be a curse to do it. But I almost changed it. What was it, Sid? You came up with it this week.
Battered Vussy syndrome.
Battered Vussy syndrome. I almost changed his name to Battered Vussy syndrome mid-game.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's probably better that you didn't. You know, that would have been bad juju anyways. So we'll see what happens. Battered Vussy syndrome is pretty intense, man. Gee, I wonder why people want to quit the league when this is like the most advanced level cyberbullying. This is the kind of shit they make videos of and then they train people on. They're all, is this cyberbullying?
I was like the mom on that High School Catfish Netflix show. Low.
Oh,
You
damn,
stay
dude.
so low, you anorexic. Owen will never touch your pussy low.
Jesus.
Oh my
That's
God.
unbelievable.
That show is rock. So
We can
many-
dedicate a whole podcast episode to that show.
Jesus Christ. I don't know if y'all watched it. Did you watch it, Nick?
If you haven't
High
seen
school,
it, watch it.
high school catfish? Is that what it's called?
High School Catfish
It's called
something on
Unknown
Netflix.
Oh no, I haven't seen that one. No, I've seen the show Catfish because you know it's on when the missus watches it a lot.
It's a new
That's just
one. Watch
crazy.
it.
Doing
Watch
one
it.
of
We'll discuss on a future pod.
his
All right,
tweets.
for sure.
Documentary was done perfectly.
Sugan, how do you feel about Rudy next week?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think a lot of people can say like, "Oh, this is just week one. This might be my team going forward for the season." So, I don't know, man. I think me and Scum might be racing for the bottom spot there.
Look at a
dang
guy
you
that
guys.
was
Come
in
on
your
now.
shoes. Look at a guy that was once in your shoes. There is future. It might take a number of years, but there is a future.
I don't even want to get into it right now. It's week one, so we'll forget about it. We'll move on. We'll see everybody in week 2 for the Pod Squad, Rebel Scum, the rest of the guys. This is the AGS podcast, and we'll catch y'all next week.
Peace.
Thank you for your wetness.